games. He is getting to the basket. He's hitting his mid-range shot and starting to play the way Coach Barnes wants him to play. Keyshawn Hall on the other end, this guy's an absolute bucket. He can score in bunches, and it will take multiple guys to try to disrupt him.
Keyshawn Hall, the senior, who's been around the block a time or two against the freshman from Tennessee, Nick Ament. These two guys certainly have been putting on a show, carrying their teams. Ament was phenomenal last weekend on the road at Alabama, and Keyshawn Hall, well, he's just been phenomenal since the season began. 129th all-time meeting. Nate Ament, 6'10", 207. Keyshawn Hall, 6'7", 240. 20,000 on hand tonight. Tennessee will have the first crack at it.
This matchup has been quite the rivalry over the years. Close games, year in, year out. They know each other so well. Stephen Pearl taking the reins for his dad, but so many similar strategies for Auburn.
Nate Ament on the wing. Williams Adams defends him. Ball knocked out of the hands of Jacoby Gillespie and finds its way through the cylinder.
And interesting to see Williams Adams, the freshman, getting the start on Nate Ament. See if his length can bother the freshman and his speed laterally.
This Auburn team, offensively, been pretty solid this year, averaging 85 points a game. It's crazy to think that's 9th in the league. Ament the rebound. Nate averaging 6.5 of those per game. First three, no good. Another offensive rebound for the best rebounding team in the offensive rebounding team in the conference.
Yeah, they send a lot of bodies at the glass. They can rebound it really from about 4 positions offensively.
Another opportunity.
And so many guys get sucked in trying to crash the glass. Tennessee tends to get those long rebounds off those long misses.
It'll belong to Auburn. Big news for Tennessee fans. That man right there, Felix Okpara, is out tonight, has a calf injury. Saw him at shoot-arounds. There was concern about it. They were going to evaluate it, and apparently just can't go tonight. Something that kind of crept up on him early today. Really.
Tennessee has a lot of depth in the front court, but he is unique. I mean, he is their rim protection. He can guard on the perimeter as well. Big loss for Tennessee. Gives Brown an opportunity to step up in a huge game on their home court.
Deep three, perfect. Jacoby Gillespie, 36% from behind the arc, knocks home his 58th. Quick timeout from Stephen Pearl and the Auburn Tigers. We'll step aside, back in a moment. Gillespie with a deep three, forcing the Auburn timeout. What is Stephen Pearl thinking?
I think he was frustrated with the 2 offensive rebounds that Auburn gave up on the previous possession, and then Gillespie sitting there saying, are you kidding me? What are they thinking? They're going under that screen? They're going to leave me open from deep? And Stephen Pearl says, you know what? I hate to admit it, you're right. That's why I'm calling a timeout. It won't happen again.
Keyshawn Hall, or Keyshawn Murphy throwing one down. Murphy, this might be an opportunity for him tonight.
Yeah, what a great set play out of the timeout. Stephen Pearl and his offensive coordinator there, Mike Burgomaster, draws up a beauty for an easy 2.
Bishop Boswell knocking home a 3, his 17th of the year.
When you think about him trying to replace Jemai Meshack as one of the top defenders in the country was Meshack, what Boswell brings you is even more reliable three-point shooting, as you see right there.
Ball might have been partially blocked by Ament. Boswell comes out of there with it. Tennessee averaging 82.5 points per game. Entry pass stolen away by Hall. Up ahead to Overton.
Tennessee's been 2 turnover prone at the guard position, and thought Tennessee got away with a foul there in transition.
Pettiford at the free throw line. Williams Adams. Nice take to the basket.
And that's the physicality you got to play with against Tennessee. Nice job by the freshman, initiating the contact, getting the defender below the rim, scoring the bucket.
Goes to Wayne Brown, the second. He gets it to Ament. He fires for 3, and he connects. And that's a shot that has been ever evolving for Ament, and it's coming at a good time.
Stephen Pearl really upset that they didn't communicate that switch more as he yells at Pettiford. Auburn likes to switch a ton, and that time they got caught, leaving Ament wide open.
Loose ball on the deck, a scrum, and they're going to say a tie-up. Arrow favors Auburn.
See, Ament's going to come off this screen here, and just too easy. And whether they're supposed to switch that or not, you either got a trail, or if that's a switch, then Murphy's got to come out and get that. But to leave Ament, who is playing red hot over the last 5 games, the last thing you want to do is give him a good, clean look early. You want to try to disrupt his confidence, and that's not how you do it.
3 of Tennessee's 4 made field goals are from behind the arc. Turnover on the entry pass. Brown. Estrella got his position and converted.
He had Pettiford down low and just said mouse in the house. Great recognition by Tennessee to get it to him early.
Murphy poked away by Ament for a moment. Here's Hall. Shot clock in single digits. And a foul on Boswell. Timeout on the floor. Tennessee off to a great start.
And they won those 2 road games in large part because of the play of J.P. Estrella. And you see him right there taking advantage of the smaller defender. Tennessee getting anything they want right now on the offensive end.
Well, Rick Barnes has built this program on defense and rebounding. And defensively, they have been really good again. They are first in the conference, allowing less than 70 points a game. You see the opponent's shooting percentage. That's first in the league, 29th in the country. Opponents have a tough time getting those 3-point shots off. All these certainly help you out when you're struggling a little bit offensively. But this is, once again, is a Rick Barnes defined team. Few people have been coaching as long as he has. Few people have had the success that he's had, and there's a reason why.
They play so hard defensively, and there's there's strategy to it, but not a lot of gimmicks. I mean, they'll switch if they need to, but it is physicality, busting through screens, and you will not play, no matter how good of an offensive player you are, you will not play for Rick Barnes if you can't guard your man, stop penetration, and be a reliable defender.
Inside, Elijah Freeman up off the window.
Well, and Keyshawn Hall was ready for that double team. He's got great vision. He told me earlier this year, talking about his offensive confidence, he goes, I really don't worry about the guy that's guarding me. I know I can take him. I'm just looking to see where that help defender's coming from.
The Vols in the offensive end, they've hit 4 in a row and make it 5 in a row. Nate Ament with another 3.
Well, Auburn showed a little bit of zone there, and Tennessee was prepared for it and just sent Nate Ament on a baseline runner. And he's got such a high release, even though Auburn's there, he saw a clean rim.
Jovic checks in for Auburn after that timeout. Wearing number 38 underneath the basket, but they go right back to Keyshawn Hall and does what he does.
And you can see Auburn saying, hey, we need to play through Keyshawn. He handled the double team, a willing passer. They don't bring the double team that time, gets a bucket.
Tapped around, Estrella keeps it alive. Taken away there by Overton. Pettiford. Step back jumper is good. Tahad Pettiford averaging 13 points a game.
He has to play great if they're going to win this game on the road. That doesn't mean he's got to score 20, but he's got to be reliable defensively, take care of the basketball, and make tough shots like that.
Here is Ament. Gets a screen from Brown. Pull up at the free throw line. Pettiford.
I think Auburn confused Tennessee. They showed some zone, and Tennessee kind of stayed stagnant in the zone offense when it really switched to a man.
Inside, Jovic. She's fouled and heads to the free throw line.
I love this young freshman from Bosnia, Filip Jovic. And he does things right when he comes in the game, whether it's hustle plays, rebounds, pump fakes. He has a really bright future. And, he's not the biggest big on the court size-wise, but he's smart, he's crafty, and he can hold his own despite being just 6'8" down low in the paint.
Averaging 6.5 points a game, shooting 57% from the free throw line. Coming up next at 10:30 Eastern Time over on ESPN, we'll send you to the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane. The Kennel will be a busy place as we cap off the night with the always exciting rivalry game between St. Mary's and 6th-ranked Gonzaga. St. Mary's at 19-3, Gonzaga at 21-1. Be a lot of fun. Been fun here. Some good offense to start this one. Auburn shooting 55%, Tennessee at 60%.
And I like the zone. Even though there's capable shooters, Gillespie's really the one no-leave guy. Everybody else, you want to make Tennessee kind of settle. But you don't want to let them just dribble right into an easy jump shot. That's like a warm-up line shot there.
So Amari Evans gets on the board, another freshman. Rick Barnes going to play 4 freshmen tonight.
In the age of the transfer portal, Barnes will be the first to tell you he's shocked he's playing this many freshmen right now. But that's what he's been looking for over the past couple weeks, is an identity and wanting to go into a game knowing what he's going to get night in, night out from certain players. And some of these freshmen have really stepped up.
Strella, big collision on the logo, and there will be a foul against Auburn. I think that's going to go against Jovic. Actually, they're going to call that one against Pettiford on a reach-in. That'll be his first.
Well, and big-to-big passing will be important for Tennessee, because Jalen Carey, 23 and white, I think he's got a chance to bury his man Keyshawn Hall below the basket if they can get Estrella to hit that high-low look.
Carey's been battling a little leg injury he suffered last week against Alabama.
And as good as Gillespie has been, if there's one thing that Rick Barnes is frustrated with him on, it's valuing the basketball. And that time he dribbles it right off his foot. Second turnover of the game.
Pettiford tried to hit a cutting Hall, and they'll throw it right back to the Volunteers. That is 3 turnovers now for the Tigers.
I thought it was actually a pretty good look. Hall's got to get his hand up there, almost like a quarterback throwing it to a receiver with the defensive back not seeing the throw. There's Carey.
Trying to dump it down low.
Jovic, more athletic than you realize. He's got a great, quick first and second jump.
And is that another foul on a 3-ball from Keyshawn Hall?
You have got to be vertical on that contest. Keyshawn Hall, so good at drawing fouls. And you typically think, well, look, when he goes to the rim, make sure you defend without fouling. But he is so good outside the paint as well, specifically at the 3-point line. This is the 7th time in conference play that he has been fouled on a 3-point shot attempt. And Dave, what's funny is he was trying to draw fouls and shoot around against an invisible defender. He was practicing in the corner, shooting threes, and kind of flopping his wrist and body a little bit, saying, "And one, ref." And so he prepares, and he's earned his way to the stripe yet again.
Practice makes perfect as Hall gets to the free throw line, and he has been solid there at 86% for a guy that has been there 180 times coming into this game. Nobody shoots more free throws than Keyshawn Hall.
And good things have happened for Auburn since that timeout and running more through Hall. He's got an assist and 5 points since that first media break.
Blake Mashalik checks back in for the Auburn Tigers. We're in 21. Ament shoots over him, and well, that'll get us to our under 12 timeout. Tennessee is up 4. It has been a brisk day. The snow was fun for a little while, but maybe time to leave. From Fayetteville to Knoxville, welcome Into Food City Center, Thompson Bowling Arena, where the Tennessee Volunteers and the Auburn Tigers, one of the great SEC basketball rivalries in the last decade, underway as Tennessee leads it by 4. Dave Neal alongside former Tennessee Vol Dane Bradshaw. Glad you could join us, and we expected a really good matchup. These have, as we said, the last 8 years, the two winningest teams in the Southeastern Conference. Another great matchup, and they're off to a good start tonight.
Yeah, they are. I thought Auburn did not throw the first punch like Stephen Pearl wanted to. They missed some box outs. They didn't get it going on the offensive end. They dug themselves a little bit of hole. But after that first media timeout, they started running things through their superstar Keyshawn Hall and playing a little bit of zone to throw Tennessee off.
Well, when you look at the game summary so far, both teams overall have shot it well over 50% for each team. Auburn, though, yet to make a three-pointer. Tennessee averages just a tick over 7 threes per game. They've already knocked home 4 of their 6 attempts. And keep an eye on rebounds tonight. A big storyline. Tennessee, the best team in this conference in the country, second best in the country on the offensive glass, already has had an impact. One of the other stories we're following tonight, Dane, is, well, a guy that you played with for a short time here in Knoxville, Stephen Pearl, played for his father here at Tennessee. Now he comes back as an Auburn head basketball coach.
Yeah, Stephen Pearl, as a player, earned everything he got and found his way onto the court. He was a hustle guy, glue guy, and just did whatever the coach asked, which was probably a good idea when it's your dad.
Right.
But I tell you, I knew. I said, hey, Stephen, in about 20 years, you're going to follow your dad's footsteps and be the head coach at Auburn. It's funny how that's worked out. Obviously not true.
Well, he has said time and time again this week how important being at the University of Tennessee and here in Knoxville has kind of set him on his path, whether it was in medical sales, which he did right out of college, to being a basketball coach for his father, which started at Auburn. Here's Jalen Carey. That won't drop.
Yeah, I think I got asked, who knows, probably 100 times in the offseason, how do you think Stephen Pearl's going to do? And to me, the number one question was, if Jalen Carey gets a nice inside position there for an and-one. But to me, the question was not about Stephen Pearl's IQ, his coaching ability, but his ability to lead a team in the locker room. And I think the evidence has been clear early on, the way this team has improved throughout the course of the season, winning 5 of their last 6 in SEC play after dropping 2 heartbreakers, and seeing how they've improved, especially on the defensive end. He's got a voice in the locker room, and he's a guy that this Auburn team has been following in his footsteps, executing his game plans.
Well, Auburn comes in at 14-7, 5-3 in the league. They started conference play at 0-2. They have since won 4 in a row, as you mentioned, 5 of their last 6. Tennessee at 14-6, 4-3 in the league. They had a little hiccup here in their last home game against Kentucky, blew a big lead. But they have since won 2 in a row. They go on the road and beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and then knocked off Georgia and Athens in overtime in their last hour.
I would keep pounding it down to Carey. This is a great matchup for him.
Carey kept it alive, and we get to see what this Tennessee team is all about.
And Carey still not 100% healthy after hyperextending that knee, but he is just such a big body down low, and this is a little bit smaller lineup for Auburn, and that's why you see Keyshawn Murphy going to the scores table right now. And again, Carey's been looking for more minutes. With Felix Agpara out of this game with that calf injury, more opportunities for 23 and white.
Yeah, starter Felix Agpara in some sweats. Came to shoot around this morning and said his calf was bothering him. He's had kind of a lingering calf issue, but it kind of elevated today. And Coach Barnes was not real optimistic at shoot around that Agpara was going to be able to go.
And while they do have depth in the front court, what separates him from the others is his ability to switch and guard on the perimeter effectively, and he's one of the nation's best shot blockers. So a big miss, despite having some other bigs capable of stepping up in other areas.
Tennessee has built this lead back up to 9. Pettiford off the mark on that 3. Auburn, no field goals, going on almost 4 minutes now.
See the battle down low now with Keyshawn Murphy, 3 for Auburn. Won't be as easy for Carey to get that inside positioning.
Gillespie. Shot clock down to 6. Carey thought about the 3, takes it, 17-footer on the way. A little too strong, and there'll be a hold. That'll go against Auburn's Sebastian Williams-Adams.
It's not your first shot defense that's going to be the problem when you play Tennessee. You can make the Vols miss in the half court, but can you finish that possession and get the defensive rebound? And many times that answer is no. The #1 offensive rebounding team in the country, the Tennessee Vols, and they get contributions essentially from about 4 different players on the offensive end at one time.
Over 15 offensive rebounds per game. Gillespie goes flying through the lane. Little scoop shot with the left hand, up and in. Boy, there was a wall built for him to turn the corner.
You're exactly right. Those big bodies down low for Tennessee created a path for Gillespie.
7-0 Tennessee run. There's Keyshawn Hall averaging 21 points a game. Fouled, and that is what he does.
Well, we'll see how Gillespie, he's going to beat his man off the dribble. He likes his matchup up top here. But after he does that, keep an eye down low. Play it from here. Let's see him drive the lane and then keep an eye right here as Carey's going to clear that lane. Police escort. Here you go. Gillespie with the easy 2 from there.
When Jalen Carey wants to provide a wall, it is a sturdy wall.
As I heard somebody say, that boy's thicker than zoo glass. You're not getting through there.
That is a good one. Williams-Adams. Amen comes out of there with it. Lane already with a couple of threes today. And a foul on the perimeter. Keyshawn Murphy trying to contain the 6'10" true freshman.
And that's part of the trade-off with an Auburn team that likes to switch a lot. They didn't really get matched up the way they wanted in transition. So if Tennessee can exploit and get some leverage on those switches and get the matchup they want, it could be favorable for the Vols in the half court.
Overton checks back in. The junior transfer out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, by way of Texas Tech.
A little bit of that zone where Amen found the corner early.
They're going to say moving screen. Joe Lindsey caught J.P. Estrella.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Estrella or maybe Brown going on that backside. They were looking for a backside lob, and he felt like Brown was a moving screen right here, sticking that hip out.
They gave it to Estrella, so either one of them. Estrella now will head to the bench. J.P. picking up his second foul. In the corner it goes. Freeman misfires. Taken out of his hands by Gillespie. Evans, reverse layup is good. Tigers have gone 6 straight possessions without a basket. And that ends right there with Keyshawn Murphy's little jump hook.
Yeah, he's been playing really well as he's gotten healthier. He kind of had a bum leg early in the season, but he's become much more explosive. After that big win against Florida on the road, Todd Golden called Stephen Pearl and said, man, I didn't know Murphy was such an athlete.
Nobody had really seen him jump with that bad leg. Carey kicks it back out to Amens, and he is fouled by Pettiford. Nate Amen will head to the free throw line for 3 shots. One.
And this is a good read by Amen. He has got such a height advantage that he can shoot over the top anytime he wants, and you've got to give him somewhere to land if you're Pettiford. So just a silly foul, because your best you can do if you're Pettiford is contest and hope he misses, knowing that he's going to get a clean look at the rim given his height. And Tennessee's been pretty good in this first half, make no mistake about it, but I think Stephen Pearl's telling his team and his staff right now, guys, we got to quit shooting ourselves in the foot. We've had some silly mistakes in this game, and this is an Auburn team that only had 3 turnovers in their last win. And so they've been playing some pretty smart basketball, not so much here in the first half.
Yeah, only committed those 3 turnovers against Texas, tied the school record for fewest turnovers in a game. It is the largest lead of the night, 13 for the Vols. Freeman connects.
This kid has as high of a ceiling as anybody on the Auburn team. The D2 transfer can be a double-digit score for them night in, night out.
Elijah Freeman played Division II basketball just down the road from this building at Lincoln Memorial. A lot of people thought he was going to come here to Tennessee. Stephen Pearl snuck in there and grabbed him. In and out for Overton. Gets another opportunity. He'll fire away. No good. Carey taps it and will hand it off to Gillespie.
But I like the shot from Overton. He's been one of their hottest three-point shooters, and he saw the hand down, and he was trying to make it be hand down, man down.
Yeah, he leads the team with 39 makes from behind the arc, does Overton. Here's Carey at the logo.
But I think that's a shot Stephen Pearl and Auburn will live with. They've shown in this zone they're going to leave that open spot in the middle for the Tennessee bigs and see if they can make that 4 to 5 foot floater.
Pettiford. Freeman dumps it inside. Williams Adams, count it. He'll head to the line. Wow. That is a freshman out of Houston at 6'8", 230, getting it done down low.
He felt the bump from Carey and sized up the physical Carey, and just very crafty with a quick spin move along the baseline for a big and one for the Auburn Tigers.
Well, the Auburn Tigers coming off their best season in school history, Final Four, 32 wins. So how would this season look with Stephen Pearl taking over the reins from Bruce Pearl in his first season so far? 14-7, 5-3 in league play. And they have Keyshawn Hall, who has put on a show just about every night, second in the conference in scoring. And their Auburn defense has really picked up a notch. I think that is the biggest difference from this team from November, December into January.
I couldn't agree more. And Stephen Pearl's been very transparent in his press conferences. They had some losses early that weren't just losses. They were blowouts to really good teams. And he said, look, that game down in Florida that they won, he goes, I think a month ago our team couldn't have handled that environment, but we've gotten better. And it was interesting. He shared with us earlier today, Dave, about their defensive improvement. And he said, you know, what we started doing was taking guys individually in the film room to show their bad clips, and we show their good clips in front of the team. And I said, well, that's not fair. Your dad never showed my bad clips in a private session. That was all in front of the whole class. But
hey, different kids too.
Yeah. But it was a good point. He said, look, he feels like they open up more, that they talk more when it's one-on-one about the bad clips and more accountable as well.
Nice move underneath. You're looking at a freshman, Dwayne Brown, out of Hoover, Alabama, with that 7'3" wingspan. He got the start tonight because of the injury to Felix Akpara. Poked away there by Evans.
Tennessee really sits on anybody that's going to try to spin. They are ready to attack from the blind side there.
Rick Barnes going with 3 freshmen on the floor right now.
This is not a good matchup.
And count it.
Anytime Keyshawn Murphy's coming out of the game, they just go right down into their workhorse, Jalen Carey. And Keyshawn Hall's a guy that was 300 pounds in high school. He's dropped a ton of weight that's made him very versatile on the wing, a big-time scorer. But he could use some of that body weight he had back in high school when you're going up against a guy like Jalen Carey.
First on Keyshawn Hall, and Carey can't get the free throw to go. Big collision underneath as Brown knocks over Sebastian Williams-Adams.
A big 5 minutes here for Auburn. You have not played your best, but you don't want to get yourself down 15 to 20 heading into the locker room.
Foul against... Oh, no foul, just ball out of bounds. It'll belong to the Tennessee Volunteers.
And I think if you're going to stop Carey, you either got to double down on the post or adjust to a zone, as they've shown some before. Looks like they'll go zone. Let's see if Tennessee hits that middle again.
Off the backboard now for Carey.
He's made some tough twos in there. If there's one place on the court you want to shoot it long, It's right there at the top.
He just stepped on one of his teammates' foot walking back after that basket. He is hobbled down there. He is grimacing in pain. He already had a leg injury suffered against Alabama last Saturday in Tuscaloosa. There goes Hall to the basket. That won't go. Second chance opportunity for Jovic. Count it. He'll head to the line. But keep an eye on Carey right now as he continues to grab that right leg.
Yeah, if he needs to come out of the game, remember Felix Agpara already out tonight with that calf injury. And he's been the best mismatch Tennessee's had in this game so far as well.
Only played 11 minutes against Georgia with that injury, just not the same Jalen Carey. Here comes Bishop Boswell. He'll replace Brown as Carey will stay in.
When you're 4 for 7, 11 points are in the first half, you have a tendency to want to play through it, not come out, right?
He only had 9 points, but he did have 15 rebounds over the last 3 games. So tonight you're getting a little bit better look of the real Jalen Carey.
And the transfer from Vanderbilt, Jalen Carey had some of his best games right here against Tennessee. Rick Barnes said, hey, I want that guy on my squad.
4:44 to go, first half. Ament, free throw line. Faces up now. That's off the mark. There's Carey with an offensive rebound. In traffic, lost the handle. Hall comes out of there with it. Boswell chasing him down and pokes it away. Right back to Hall. Last touch by Jovic. It'll be Tennessee basketball. .13 lead. Tennessee out in front. These two teams, last year they met twice. Both meetings they were in the top 8 in the country. This year neither one of them are ranked. It's the first time since 2017. This particular day, January 31st, 2017, was the last time these two teams played when neither was ranked.
There's a good chance that'll change next week. Both these teams, Auburn winning 5 of their last 6, and Tennessee, after dropping that tough home loss that surprised everybody to Kentucky, gave up that lead late. All they did was go on the road, beat Alabama, beat Georgia. Now if you come back here and beat a hot Auburn team, you're all of a sudden one of the hottest teams in the SEC.
Timeout on the floor. Back in a moment.
We'll see you at the half.
Thank you, guys. There is one of the best freshmen in the country, Nate Ament, who's off to a good start here in the first half.
As Ament goes to the charity stripe here, Rick Barnes has been so patient with him, and Barnes really somewhat added to the freshman hype because Barnes is so hard to please, and yet he went out of his way in the preseason to say, I am so pumped about this kid. He's doing everything right. He's so coachable. But he also said we're going to have to be patient. In fact, Coach Caldwell for the Lady Vols had to remind him, he said, hey, you remember we were talking in the offseason and you said it might be mid-January before he gets it, but he's going to get it. And lo and behold, the young freshman's starting to get it.
Only had 7 shots in that game against Kentucky that they lost that 17-point lead. But since then, he had 20 shots and 18 shots and has been more assertive. Like, you can just feel him taking ownership in this.
I saw him here in the second half against Texas A&M, and he really closed out that game well to get a huge win. I thought that gave him some terrific confidence.
Hall tried to draw the foul. No whistle on the play. Tennessee flying back down the floor. Evans can't convert. Jovic the rebound.
Well, right now, Tennessee doing a nice job defending without fouling. This is an Auburn team that relies so heavily on the free throw line.
Woo. There's Tapad Pettiford. 36% from the floor, 27% from behind the arc. He's a better shooter than those numbers would indicate.
Yeah, and he likes it off the bounce as well.
Gillespie. No good. Tapped around by the Vols.
Stephen Pearl is livid. I mean, he wants subs right now. If you're not going to collect the defensive rebound, you got to come out of the game.
Here's Ament working on Pettiford. Spins and fires, rolls around the iron, and Freeman grabs the rebound.
That's putting too much pressure on your defense to get multiple stops, though, if you're Auburn. You have to try to make Tennessee be one and done on that end of the court.
10 offensive rebounds here in the first half for Tennessee. They average a little over 15 per game. They had 26 against Georgia. Pettiford tries again. In and out. It'll belong to the Vols. Hey, Sunday at noon Eastern on ESPN and the app, the Women's College Game Day crew will be at the Moody Center in Austin, Texas to get you set for a big day of women's basketball. 14th ranked Baylor and number 22 West Virginia get it started at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Then over on ABC, it's number 10 Oklahoma and 4th ranked Texas in the next edition of the Red River Rivalry.
I think right here, if you're Auburn, if you can get this thing to single digits before half, you'd be thrilled. They were down to Texas by 8 last time out, and Stephen Pearl told his team at halftime, guys, I'm thrilled. We should be down 20 the way we're playing. We're right here in this thing. They had their second half surge, so looking somewhat like a similar situation here in Knoxville.
2 minutes to go first half. Shot clock into single digits.
Bigger lineup out there on the post.
Evans just pulls up and fires for 3. That one circles the iron and kicks out.
And that all starts with Williams-Adams' defense down low on Carey. That's a better matchup for Auburn.
Freeman fires. Brown the rebound.
That is a great box out by Gillespie, though. I mean, he was outmatched by Murphy, but held his own.
Tennessee is out-rebounding Auburn 24-11. Ament spins and fires and a whistle, and he'll head to the free throw line. Freeman with a little push on the Ament shot. Tennessee, again, all about defense and rebounding under Rick Barnes, and we have seen both of those in effect, full effect here tonight in the first half.
Yeah, these guys really pound the glass, and it's not by accident. They have physical post players. They, more times than not, have 2 bigs on the court that are doing their work early. They go after the offensive rebound like they're trying to get a defensive rebound. They're trying to get inside position. And then Rick Barnes has gotten comfortable sending more guards to it. And today's game of analytics, the more guys you send to the offensive glass, the more likely you are to get it. But the old days you used to worry about transition. It has proven that the risk is a lot lower and the reward a lot higher in terms of offensive rebound versus transition.
Little dump down to Murphy. He'll spin, and that one's tapped around. And Auburn having a tough time. They have dropped down to 37% from the floor.
They've got Brown if they can find him. I should have thrown that high-low. That's not the time for the jumper. All you got to do is throw it over Pettiford's head, and you have an easy bucket for Brown.
Tennessee's missed 8 straight shots now. No field goals in the last 4.5. Pettiford, boy, that one just kicks out again. A little too strong off the iron.
Yeah, this is an Auburn team that has 1 game shooting poorly. But it's going to be a lot harder to do if they continue to shoot this poor from deep. 2 for 12 from 3 so far.
Timeout on the floor. 31 seconds to go before halftime. Back in a moment. Back in Knoxville, and kind of a sad day for those that follow Auburn athletics and really SEC athletics. Philip Marshall, a longtime journalist in the state of Alabama covering Auburn for a majority of his career, passed away Friday at the age of 76. He worked at the Huntsville News, Birmingham Post-Herald, Tuscaloosa News, on and on. Certainly a sad day, and he was 2-time Alabama Sports Writer of the Year, and such an impact on so many people, including Coach Bruce Pearl, who had this to say on X earlier today about his friend. We'll certainly miss him, and I know the Auburn faithful will as well. We are down to 20 seconds to go before halftime as Tennessee leads it by 13. Good screen by Carey. And a fouls. Williams-Adams. Boy, Tennessee just getting great position underneath the basket.
They did, and I think at that timeout they said, hey, Brown has had good positioning down there. Reward the big fella, and that time he had a great seal off in Gillespie with a pinpoint bounce pass. And I think that's what separates Tennessee at times in an era where everybody is playing fast, shooting a ton of threes, and I get it, but there is a time and place to be able to just dump the ball down low and get yourself to the free throw line, and Tennessee has that in their arsenal.
One of the crazy stats about Rick Barnes is Nate Oates, who certainly has the best offenses going in college basketball, hasn't scored more than 76 points against a Tennessee team, and it's because we make them guard on the half court.
Yeah. They try to slow the game down, limit possessions. Oh, no.
Oh, a deep three with 3.2 seconds on the clock from Kevin Overton, and he is fouled.
What a huge bucket by Overton. And Rick Barnes just saying, Jacoby, come on, man. We're flying at a shooter from 35 feet, and you could just see Jacoby thinking, oh, no, I just ran into him. And, I mean, you want to close out the half strong. Gillespie has been phenomenal. I think he's one of the most indispensable players in the SEC, but there has been some decision-making concerns for Rick Barnes at the point guard spot.
A 4-point play makes it a 10-point game. 3.2 seconds on the clock. Gillespie will inbound it. Half court, no good.
Wow, what a massive 4-point play.
Tennessee leads it by 10 at the break. Nate Amon got off to a great start in this one. Finishes the half with 11 points. Talked a lot about Keyshawn Hall. They have kept him in check. The SEC second leading scorer, just 5 points on 1 of 7 from the floor. 10-point lead for Tennessee. Big Orange out in front. Time to get to the studio. Kevin and Coach, guys, take it away. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Nothing like a Saturday night on Rocky Top, even with the snow in the area and the frigid temperatures. 20,000 have made their way in the building to watch Tennessee with a 10-point advantage, 41-31 over the Auburn Tigers. Dave Neal alongside Dane Bradshaw. And Dane, both teams shot the ball well early. Tennessee maintained it for most of the half to take this 10-point lead. But generally, your thoughts about the first 20 minutes and how it went from your perspective?
Yeah, I think Auburn's got to shore up some things defensively for sure. But on the offensive end, they've got to get Keyshawn Hall going. But credit Tennessee. I mean, you're taking on one of the best players in the SEC in Keyshawn Hall. I mean, this is a guy you could look at as one of the candidates for SEC Player of the Year as we approach the midway mark. And just 5 points on 1 of 7. And he only went to the free throw line one trip when he got fouled on the three-point shot. The key to defending Keyshawn Hall is, can you defend him without fouling? He is one of the best in the nation at getting himself to the stripe. However, you might be able to keep him down, but can you keep him out? You look at the past couple of games here, he has exploded in certain halves of the game. First half against Florida before he cooled off, but then that huge win against Texas, they won both of those games, and 25 against the Longhorns in the second.
Well, one of the things that we have noticed in the first half is he has a bandage on his finger, on his shooting hand. It's wrapped up, looks like some sort of Band-Aid or tape, and he's looked at it a few times, shook his hand. Now, he came with that before the game started. We'll wonder just what kind of impact that has had on his shooting hand tonight.
Yeah, certainly a story to watch there, because we've seen him not have great halves, but not many where he's been shut down for consecutive halves.
Well, J.P. Estrella, who sat most of that first half with a couple of fouls, steps on the court to begin the second half and opens up things with a basket.
Well, Tennessee's done a nice job with their bigs flashing to the middle and trusting those 4 and 5 men to make the right decision at the logo.
Boy, deep three from Pettiford, and a foul on the rebound against Tennessee underneath. But there's a look at the finger. And normally you wouldn't pay much attention to something like that, but he's looked at it and shook his hand a couple of times here in the first half. Who knows? He's a shooter.
Yeah. It's one of those, if you see the first couple go in, you're not looking at it as much. But it does start to get in your head when you're 1 for 7.
Gillespie just picked up his second foul for Tennessee. Boswell tries to split the double team. They're going to say a tie-up, and the arrow favors Auburn.
Well, Boswell tried to split the trap, but Murphy shows you his ability to anticipate, and he bumped knees a little bit as he hobbles back. But he's just going to jump all over this split there, and really nice job just tying that up by Murphy. I think he's got to be huge. If Auburn's going to win this game, he's got to be the best big in the second half, because Tennessee big, I think, dominated that first half.
Without Akpar on the floor. If you're joining us, Felix Akpar, one of their best defender, if not best defenders, out of the game with a calf injury, as Sebastian Williams-Adams has a three-point opportunity coming up.
Just a nice little pick and roll here. Williams-Adams, his second and one of the game. Estrella can't believe it. Felt like he was just straight up.
That's the third on JP. So Williams-Adams, the five-star, top 35 prospect. The freshman knocks home the free throw.
Williams-Adams is part of that culture. Stephen Pearl is not only continuing on, but building part of that freshman class. Him and Jovic, as good as it gets for freshmen. When you talk about their leadership, being vocal, and being bought into the team, mature beyond their age.
Amen. The SEC co-players of the week this year going at it, and Ament and Hall. It's going to stay with Tennessee.
I like the shots Ament is getting. I like the mid-range. I feel like he can get it off whenever he wants. He got a little pump fake there to get a clean look, but he's 2 of 9 right now. And I think they got to keep going to him, because the quality of look, I think, is pretty good.
Ball on the deck. Scramble. Pettiford gets it to Hall. Or excuse me, to Murphy. Overton takes it himself, lays it up and in. Ament fouls him. He'll head to the line. Here come the Tigers.
Yeah, this Auburn team knows how to respond to adversity, whether it's from one game to another or one half to another. When they get themselves down, and they just kick it into an extra gear. I'm sure Stephen Pearl would say, hey guys, quit turning it up a notch after we see ourselves in a deficit. But credit Auburn. This is when they really create a sense of urgency when they see those deficits and just continue to fight back. I'm really shocked, because Tennessee has outplayed Auburn in this game. So to have a 6-point game right now is huge for Auburn.
Overton converts the three-point play. He's coming off 25 points in the win against Texas, where he hit 5 three-pointers. It's a 6-0 Tiger run at the moment.
Great look there for Ament.
And a foul against the freshman Williams-Adams on a hold underneath on the loose ball. That'll be his third.
That's a big foul there. And so this is where Auburn becomes smaller, and where Tennessee really took advantage in the first half. So can Auburn hold their own as Brown gets the mismatch he wants right away?
Overton with good hands, but Carey keeps it alive. Little scoop pass underneath. 2 points.
Yeah, and just like that, even though it was a loose ball situation, the interior is going to be Tennessee's friend right now with these lineups.
Wayne Brown with 5 points. And a foul out on the perimeter, and that's going to go against Jacoby Gillespie now. And he just picked up his third.
On a crafty play by Pettiford, he felt Gillespie trailing and chasing him from behind. He just put on the brakes and kind of shoves himself into Gillespie. And Gillespie saying, what am I supposed to do here? He jumps back into me, and I thought that probably could have been a no call.
Overton. Ament grabs the rebound. That's his 5th of the game to go along with 11 points.
So if this ball goes in down low, I think you got to try to bring a double team that gets deep in the paint.
Ament working on Overton, elevates and can't convert. You can tell Nate getting a little frustrated. Some of these shots not dropping.
But I like the fact that he's continued to go with it. I mean, Tennessee's first impression of Nate Ament was that exhibition game way back when against Duke. And he was not efficient, but he was aggressive. And you thought, man, I love the fact that he's a freshman. He doesn't defer. As the season went on, he lost a little bit of confidence. He deferred a little bit too much. The fact that he's continuing to look for his shot, I think, is a positive sign for Tennessee. Otherwise, they just sit around and wait till the shot clock gets low and hand Gillespie the ball, and that's not a winning formula.
Last 3 games, Nate averaging 19 points, over 5 rebounds. Averaging over 21 his last 5 conference games. Backdoor cut. Foul on the floor. Boy, that.
What a break for Tennessee.
That's what Stephen Pearl's saying. You're killing me over there, Joe. We had a layup.
Just a terrific set play with a back pick for a layup. They're going to get amen for holding there. And Stephen Pearl's like, what? I mean,
would have been the easiest basket of the night for Auburn.
Yeah. Rarely do you complain to the refs about a foul you got.
Pettiford. Crowd yelling walk. The Euro step is successful for Pettiford.
That's a legal play as long as he releases the ball before that foot lands.
Nate Amon spins on Freeman.
It comes to a stop here and then just uses that pivot foot, step through. Again, it looks awkward, and I see a lot of fans wanting to travel, but very much a legal play and nice move by Pettiford.
Did Dane Bradshaw have that kind of step back in the day?
You know, I was talking to the officials before. Number one, I didn't have that. we were kind of going back in the time capsule. I said, you know what? I was the guy that came in the game. You guys always evened up the foul count. I was like, you know what? Here's a guy I can call a quick hand check on to satisfy the opposing coach.
You're not kidding. You actually
Joe Lindsay did not deny that. He goes, you're exactly right.
Of course, Dane played here at Tennessee 2003 to 07. Overlapped with Stephen Pearl for 1 year. You were senior. He was a true freshman at the time. Some of the numbers. Look at how, you know what I love? I love the jerseys and the unis back in the day. Down below your knees are like knickers.
The capri pants.
Here goes Boswell back the other way. Got himself up in the air.
Yeah, he was going in trying to seek the foul instead of just finishing.
Overton. Jovic offensive rebound, and he's fouled. And Auburn will head back to the free throw line. They're getting to the line, but it's not Hall as much as it is the rest of the team right now. They're clawing their way back in at 47-39. Auburn trying to win one on the road here in Rocky Top. It was just a couple of weeks ago, everybody was so worried about North Carolina. What's going on with the Tar Heels? Well, they've won 3 in a row. They're 17-4 overall, 5-3 in the league. Of course, everybody trying to catch Duke at 9-0, but 2 superstar freshmen on the floor in that one, Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson.
That's why this could be one of the best drafts in recent memory, and a lot of it due to these freshmen. You've heard me say it before. What impresses me so much is not just the impact these freshmen are having and the stats and numbers they're putting up, but when you think about how old college basketball has gotten with the transfer portal and the retention of great talent due to NIL and guys not jumping to the NBA early, that to me says, golly, I mean, if an 18, 19-year-old can perform against sometimes 23, 24, sometimes 26-year-old guys out there, it gives you a lot of comfort as a GM.
Well, Troy Henderson on the floor wearing number 24, speaking of freshmen for Tennessee. He's been out the last couple of games with a shoulder issue. Practiced well enough that Rick Barnes going to give him a shot. He says that shoulder's still very tender, and he's concerned that maybe one shot on that might limit his minutes, but we'll see how that plays out tonight. Gets an assist right there out of the gate as Ament knocks it home.
We'll see if that gets the lid off the rim for Ament.
Overton working against Carey. Tennessee's led by as many as 16 in this game. Hall, corner 3. That one's no good. Ament grabs the rebound over Jovic. Ament. I don't think there's a foul.
Yeah,
I
no
think
foul call, and they're saying, come on, that he kicked it off his foot if you're not calling a foul.
It certainly looked from our angle like Ament kicked it.
And now you can challenge that to see who the ball was out of if Stephen Pearl really wants this possession, since the arrow is going towards Tennessee. Looks like that's what he's going to do.
Well, we will.
Call on the floor is a jump ball. Coach from Auburn has a coach's challenge on out of bounds.
This should be a quick one in Auburn's favor.
I know Joe Lindsey should just he should just look at us. We just tell him. We could make this really quick. All right, we'll step aside while they review this play. When we come back, we'll give you that update as we continue on from Knoxville. Tennessee leading Auburn 49-40, 14-59 to play in this one. Joe Lindsey and company went back to review that last play to see if it was indeed kicked out of bounds by a Tennessee player, and it was.
After review, the Auburn coach's challenge on the out of bounds is successful. It will be Auburn ball on the end line, and Auburn will retain their timeout.
Thank you, Joe.
Correct challenge if you're Stephen Pearl. Now, you get that challenge back, as Joe Lindsey said, but you can only use it one more time. So the only frustration if you're Stephen Pearl and staff is you probably felt like you shouldn't have had to use that there, but that's what it's for. I thought Overton would let that fly. I mean, he is a quick catch and stick guy is number one.
He's 1 of 6 from behind the arc, though, tonight. Here's Pettiford. He is bumped on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Or actually, Jovic with another moving screen. The second time tonight, Jovic has been hit with one of those.
Yeah, they come out and sort of lunge at the defender instead of being set.
That'll be the second on Jovic. Here's the freshman point guard, Henderson. He's been backing up Gillespie this year at the point. Coach Barnes really enthused about his upside. Take away by Jovic. Overton back to Hall. Sean Hall, the second leading scorer in the conference, held to 5 points so far. Second chance opportunity. Oh boy, Overton looked like he got hit on the head as he went through the lane, and he is still on the floor.
Officials do the right thing and stop play immediately, given the fact that the possession was going this direction to where the injured player was in harm's way. Looks like it was the knee of Evans that caught the back of his head on the landing.
Kevin Overton, the junior, spent a year at Drake, a year at Texas Tech before coming to the Plains. You know, one of the things about this Auburn team and the way Stephen Pearl runs this roster, it's really a 7-man rotation. Blake Michalek gets 3-4 minutes a game, giving him 8 guys, but really he's whittled this thing down to 7. So any injury to any of those 7,
Right.
and it is a big void to fill.
And Overton's a guy, not only a great three-point shooter, but leads the team in steals.
And is unreal at the free throw line.
But right now is Rick Barnes.
Oh, man. Try to keep an eye on that for you over there.
3 subs come in the game for Tennessee as they got way too stagnant. Gillespie playing with 3 fouls. Ament playing with 3 fouls. So the aggressiveness early by Auburn here in the second half has Tennessee having to play through some foul trouble with their stars.
A foul on a 3 again.
Goodness, and right when Gillespie, your star point guard, comes into the game, he's been sitting on the bench with those 3 fouls. For the second time, fouls a 3-point shooter, giving up another potential 4-point play. And Dave, I was in the Tennessee film room before this game started. They went through the personnel one more time. They said, look, Pettiford is a guy who likes to kick his foot out on the jumpers. You've got to be careful contesting his threes. And he's able to get the best of Tennessee on that one.
That is the 3rd 4-point play Tennessee has allowed in SEC play this year. They had one against Arkansas early this year, back in early January. That's 2 of them tonight.
Well, where do you go if you're Tennessee? Because Gillespie's the playmaker for others. There's nobody else on the court that you would look at and say they make the other guys around them better. And it's a lot of guys that guy can get his own, of course, but not a lot of guys that can penetrate, draw an extra defender, and kick out.
Pettiford will back it out. Tahad with 11 points. He is the only player in double figures for Auburn right now. Here's Freeman to the logo, pulls up, high arching shot won't go, tapped around and won by Williams-Adams. Pettiford for 3, no good. Again, Auburn looking like Tennessee.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's what Tennessee did to Auburn in the first half.
Ament with a big block, a run out, 2-on-1. Back to Ament, tried to throw it down. Foul on Hall, and free throws coming up.
What a big swing that was. Auburn had the offensive rebound and the kick out to Pettiford for a wide open 3. And then ultimately they're able to get this block by Ament, which is going to lead to the fast break opportunity. And Boswell does a nice job with this give and go right here. Ament attacking the rim.
Ament now 8 of 10 at the line, 6 rebounds. Nate Ament came in 76% at the line, been there 137 times.
Well, they're going to have to continue to run offense through him because Auburn got the message at halftime. They have made it much more difficult for Tennessee to get those inside post touches to beat them with their front court.
Pettiford. Williams-Adams, Hall, Murphy, and Freeman on the floor for the Tigers.
Rarely do you see Rick Barnes go to a zone-type defense, but that's exactly what the Vols show.
They will discuss this one. It'll belong to Tennessee.
You see Rick Barnes looking behind the bench. The staff behind the bench on all these teams across the country has become really important with these challenges. They're trying to make sure they can see what happened to instruct their coach whether to challenge or not. That time unnecessary.
Nate Ament going strong. Working against Keyshawn Murphy, and a foul on Murphy. Under 12 timeout. Tennessee holding on. They led by as many as 16. It's down to 7. Frigid night in Knoxville on the banks of the Tennessee River, where the Volunteers lead at 51-44. Rick Barnes has just put together some kind of program here. 7 straight NCAA tournaments, longest streak in Tennessee history. Top 5 rankings the last 4 years to finish the season. That's how good he has been.
Such a great individual as well. Very open about his journey and faith and how he really didn't have God as part of his life early, but has changed over the years thanks to his kids' influence. And It's funny talking to former players, including one that's an assistant coach for Auburn, Ira Bowman, who played for Rick Barnes at Providence. He joked, yeah, that's not the same Rick Barnes I knew. And I said, it's like Richard Pryor turning into Nate Bargatze. Yeah. And he said, that's exactly right. But don't mistake Reverend Rick. I mean, he is a competitor, and that guy wants to punk you, take your lunch money. He might take your lunch money and donate it to the church after the game, but he's still going to take your lunch money.
Keyshawn Hall knocks home his first 3 of the game, just his 2nd overall field goal. That'll give him 8 points. 6-point contest. Nate Ament trying to find a little bit of room. Spins. Oh, that's big time. Can't convert. Loose ball on the deck. Murphy comes out of there with it. Off to Pettiford. Here's Freeman. Oh, he puts it through the cylinder with authority.
Auburn makes them pay. They get the stop, and as everybody was kind of trying to get that offensive rebound in a scramble.
Evans for 3. Boswell can't come up with it. Another run out by the Tigers. Pettiford for 3. Short. Evans will back it out.
What a huge shot that could have been. Pettiford has made some big plays, but he has had some wide open looks that just have not gone down. Young man that typically plays better on the road than at home.
Taken away by Freeman. Rick Barnes just shakes his head at the turnover by Amari Evans.
Auburn has just made it so much tougher to throw those entry passes. That was way too easy if you're Tennessee.
Freeman. Back to Hall. Hall lines up another 3. That one off the mark. Boswell back the other way.
This Tennessee offense just not as fluid with Jacoby Gillespie on the bench. And remember, he's got the 4 fouls, and 2 of them are on 3-point shot attempts.
Boy, taken out of Carey's hands. Pettiford working on Boswell. Short. Well, one official said traveling. Joe Lindsey said traveling, but then Bart Lennox came in there and said, I had a foul before that. Got him to the floor.
Well, that's a big play because that's going to send Tennessee to the free throw line. Their half-court offense was struggling. And let's see as Evans comes down with the ball here. And did he get tripped with some incidental contact below, or did he fall on his own? Officials overruled it. Said foul. From that first look, I didn't think he tripped over Pettiford. I thought he fell on his own.
Evans, the freshman out of Pittsburgh, converts on the first. Pettiford, that's his 3rd foul. 17 fouls against Auburn, 17 fouls against Tennessee here in the 2nd half. Evans gets them both. Came in as a 58% foul shooter, but looked pretty solid on those 2.
This is where Tennessee's got to rely on their identity as a program. It is on this end of the court.
Murphy working on Estrella, spins short. JP with a rebound. Estrella, a little jump hook, it's perfect.
They really trust him in that spot as a facilitator or a scorer. Estrella playing with supreme confidence for the Vols.
Poked away by Boswell. Here he goes. Williams-Adams is fouled. He'll head to the free throw line.
Well, Estrella is playing with a lot of confidence, and that is a big-time bucket right there when the half-court offense was not flowing. And then Boswell, again, that's the 2nd time we've seen Tennessee sneak behind Auburn when they spun and they come off that weak side and Hey, Stephen Pearl said the crowd's getting loud. I don't care. We're going to play through it and attack the rim and get to where they are at their best, the free throw line. They get 25% of their points from the charity stripe. That is 14th best in the country.
Imagine if Sebastian Williams-Adams shot better than 50% at the line. He came in 40 of 83. It would be a lot more than 25%. Got the first one to go. Hey, 2 out of 2 for Sebastian. Boswell running the point with Jacoby Gillespie on the bench with 4 fouls. Jacoby 19 points a game, almost 6 assists per game.
Boswell, such a glue guy, and he can fill in with Gillespie. He can play with him on the ball, off the ball, and really nice job there. Just handling the offense, managing the trap up top, and then feeding your big man down low. Boswell has been such an anchor for this Tennessee team on the offensive end as well as the defensive end as a primary defender on the other team's best player.
Foul on Michalek, his 3rd. JP at the free throw line. 69%. Can't convert the 1-and-1. 8:22 to play. Keyshawn Hall. Keyshawn just 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from behind the arc. That ball is deflected, and 2 Volunteers handle it at the same time out of bounds. Amari Abram getting some minutes. Haven't seen much of him tonight. Old number 77, the senior transfer.
Keep an eye on your shot clock here. There's times here where Auburn likes to run a play. Well, they're just going to throw it up at the rim. Get some misdirection. You got Pettiford potentially coming off same side for a corner 3.
Pettiford catch and fires. Kept alive by Jovic again.
And Brown's got to win that ball for Tennessee. That's a 50-50 ball. If he corrals that, he's got Boswell ahead for an easy 2.
Hall. Nice reverse layup by Hall.
How tough is he? Finishing on the other side of the rim with the offhand.
Double figures now for Keyshawn. Amen. Dumps it to Estrella. Boy, missed a little chippy. Greg Barnes just turns around and says, we might not get a better look than that. Jovic. Fouled and count it. The freshman from Bosnia picking up some star points from his team.
There are not too many freshmen that are ready and prepared for a physical battle against a team like Tennessee. But I'm telling you, this freshman Jovic is the exception. He loves the physical play. He's smart, he's crafty, and just pulled off a huge and 1 for the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, Graham Ike, Kevin, returning. The team's leading scorer and rebounder. He's coming off an ankle injury. Will be back tonight as well for Gonzaga. Meanwhile, in the Southeastern Conference, Texas A&M, and you keep waiting for something to happen, but they just keep winning.
What a story buckyball has been at Texas A&M. You talk about a team that has an identity. It's the Aggies. They're going to press you on makes, misses. They're going to disrupt you, and
they destroyed Georgia today on the road.
They did. They had a 20-0 run at the very early stages of that game.
But these 2 teams right here, despite some early struggles in conference play, and especially the winner of this one, walks out of here feeling pretty good and still in a hunt for an SEC championship.
You've got to be able to defend your home court. And right now, Tennessee stole a couple on the road. But last time they were right here, they gave up one they feel like they should have had against Kentucky.
Hit the rim. Boswell pulls up just inside the free throw line. Nice touch, and bodies pile up in the paint.
Boswell's been just so good at getting extra possessions for Tennessee. He's had 2 double-doubles in the past 4 games, and right now he's got 7 and 6. And he's just going to clean this one up here and get this long rebound.
One of the storylines here in the second half for Auburn is Kevin Overton got hit in the back of the head as he fell to the ground. A knee caught him, and he looked like he was in some severe discomfort. Left the floor, actually left the court for a while, went back in the tunnel. He's back on the bench right now. That's good to see. Don't know if we'll see him again here in the second half. Remember, 25 points for Overton in his last outing. Here's Keyshawn Hall. Another opportunity. There's Jovic. How does he get this position?
Yeah, this guy battles, and you said it earlier, Dave. Auburn's doing to Tennessee what Tennessee did to Auburn in the first half. He's just going to work to get inside here, and he's got a really good second jump. Athletic, but you like that look if you're Keyshawn Hall. I mean, he's been a little bit off tonight, but we saw Tennessee bring a double early in the game. Hall solved it. Now I think they're a little hesitant to bring it.
Jovic has 7 rebounds, 5 of them on the offensive end. Well, there's more men's basketball coverage Wednesday night over on the SEC Network. Texas A&M, we just talked about them trying to go to 8-1, taking on 23rd ranked Alabama in a tough environment at Coleman Coliseum. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. Jovic missed them both. I think they just got everybody a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
I think so. Whatever it takes to get momentum going your way. They've got Gillespie back in the game now, so this is a good lineup for Tennessee. See if the point guard can play smart and not pick up that 5th foul.
Boswell cuts on Freeman. Excuse me, Gillespie to check back into the game. Loose ball. And a foul against Williams-Adams.
Gillespie's going to get the bucket, but this is what Bishop Boswell does to the team. He holds it down while Gillespie's on the bench with those 4 fouls, but then he's also a playmaker here as a point guard. First, Gillespie's going to get that there, but what I love on the other end was Boswell's ability to get that deflection and get that extra possession.
And Coach Barnes talked to us today about Boswell. Like, if there's one guy that he needs to keep this all together, it's Boswell. The people really don't talk about him, but he is such an important piece to this pie.
Yeah, he's bought time to allow Gillespie to sit out. And while Auburn has continued to chip away at the lead, it hasn't self-destructed for Tennessee in the half court because of 3 and white.
Gillespie came in 5th in the conference in scoring, averaging 19 points a game.
He's been in for 30 seconds, has 4 points. Pretty quick impact coming off the bench.
Up to 9 now. Tennessee on a 6-0 run. 5.5 to play. Hall, step back 3, got it.
It's the right read by Hall. Carey was playing off. He gave a little jab step and just said, I got this one. That's too much space.
Hall now with 13 points. Not his best shooting night. 4 of 14. 2 of 8 from behind the arc.
But shoot, and this guy does not lose confidence. He might be bothered by that bad finger on his shooting hand, but he plays with a ton of confidence, and he does not stop. And he's come to Auburn because he wants to play for a terrific program that has a chance to be in the NCAA tournament. He's had a really good career. He's scored everywhere he's gone, but he's never been what you would call on a winning program. He's never gone to the NCAA tournament. And here he is at Auburn as one of those in the mix for SEC Player of the Year at this point.
He's the only player in the SEC in the top 10 in scoring and rebounds. And it has not been his night from an offensive standpoint, but he has still found a way to produce 13 points. And something tells me the last 5:24, he's going to be a factor in whether or not Auburn can pull this one out.
Again, this Auburn team, it was not the start they wanted to this game. That big 4-point play right before half, I thought gave them some momentum heading into halftime. Be like, all right, we're only down 10. It's on now.
Counted on the other end for Dwayne Brown the second.
If there is a best spot on the court Tennessee's had tonight, it's been right there at that logo. It's an open area for the bigs to try to make the Tennessee front court be playmakers here as they trap because they want to get the ball out of Gillespie's hands. And that's part of the benefit of playing with Gillespie and Ament is other teams will say, let's make the other guys try to beat us. And the Tennessee front court has produced so far tonight.
Dwayne Brown converts. Former Alabama Mr. Basketball. Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year out of Hoover, Alabama. Here's Hall. Yeovich comes up to set a screen. It's good to see Overton back on the floor. Sees a wide open Pettiford. They swing it to the corner. Freeman. Boy, good possession, just can't connect.
Yeah, Auburn can be extremely streaky from three. They won a game against South Carolina shooting 2 of 19. They won on the road at Ole Miss shooting 2 of 17 from three. But they can't continue to expect their defense to bail them out when they're shooting so poorly from three.
Jaden Carey just muscles his way right up next to the rim. Overton hits the deck again, shoots an air ball. Might have been blocked on the sideline. It'll be Tennessee basketball. Tennessee has now hit their last 4 shots. They lead it by 11. 3:58 to go.
Kevin Connors in studio. The Kennel is rocking in Spokane. St. Mary's Gonzaga ready to renew one of the best rivalries in college basketball. It'll start on ESPNU. You'll see it next after we go final in Knoxville. Dave?
Thanks, Kevin. Don't forget that there is Sunday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern time, some NBA basketball. The inaugural NBA Pioneers Classic is here on ESPN and also on the ESPN app. The Bucks will square off against the Celtics to tip off Black History Month. The game celebrates the 75th anniversary of the association's first black players. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown beginning at 3 o'clock Eastern. That is on Sunday afternoon. 70-59 here. Dave Neal, Dane Bradshaw, glad you could join us. 11-point Tennessee lead. Vols trying to win their 3rd straight. Auburn trying to keep their 4-game winning streak alive. Deep 3, no good from Gillespie. Rebound to Hall.
That's the first time in several possessions Auburn's been able to keep Tennessee on the perimeter after several paint points in a row for the Volunteers to take control of this game.
Speaking of paint points, Keyshawn Hall, it's almost impossible to stop him.
Especially when you're so concerned, when your coaches are saying, make sure you don't foul, make sure you don't foul them, then you can't allow that to make you play soft.
Pettiford almost had a takeaway from Ament. Tennessee trying to tick some of these precious seconds off the clock.
See, I think this needs to be a post up to Carey somehow. I mean, he's had that.
Or that.
Yep.
Or
nice
get it to Ament.
But this is that smaller, little bit smaller lineup where they had Hall on Carey. But that's now, other than a couple free throws, I believe the last 4 field goal makes for Tennessee have been right there at the bucket.
That is right at the bucket as well. Keyshawn Murphy. 3-possession game. 2.5 to play. Gillespie just 9 points. Came in averaging 19.
They just want the ball out of Gillespie's hands. That's why they're sending that double team.
Tough shot won't go. Carey, good position on Murphy, and he steps on the end line. It'll belong to Auburn. So they get the defensive stop with 2:05 to play.
They found a way to get a stop. You're exactly right. Now Auburn's just got to come up with a timely make. They've hit some of these and one threes and found a way to get a few buckets to keep cutting into this lead, but it just seems like those big timely three-pointers have not fallen when they could cut into it even more.
See if Hall can hit from here, and he does. And he looks at the finger shortly after that shot. Now, we have been talking about that. It's a little Band-Aid or a little bit of tape on that shooting hand, but it has bothered him, whatever that is.
Right when he sees this go in.
And let me tell you something, Dan, you know it hurts because usually you look at it when you miss.
Yeah, and nobody touched it clearly. And I don't know if it's just the leather coming off the hand and flicking that wrist as the ball comes off the fingertips, but you got to credit this Auburn team for how they've been able to fight back.
You know, speaking of Auburn, let's face it, struggles early in the league, but they have found a way. They've done it with defense here in the last 152. What do they need to do, I guess, to basically come out of here with a win and slow down this Tennessee team?
Well, the good news for Auburn is the fact that you've been in this position before. So that huddle is not panicked right now. They see this deficit and they're like, we've come back from this before. But you better follow that up with another stop. And I think what Stephen Pearl has done is he said, I am committed to having somebody else be a playmaker other than Jacoby Gillespie. So when Tennessee gets that ball in the half court, they are trapping Gillespie, not because they think he's going to turn the ball over. It's just to get the ball out of his hands.
Auburn started 0-2 in the league. They've won 5 of 6 and 4 in a row. But they are in a world of hurt right here with 1:52 to play, and they put the pressure on. They get it to the right guy in Gillespie. Amon. He and Brown playing a little two-man game. Long three, short, but there is Boswell.
Boswell saves the day because that's not why you pulled the ball out to run clock, was to shoot a contested three. Rick Barnes is going to want to see the Tennessee guards attack the paint.
Bounce pass underneath, blocked by Murphy. Brown kept it alive, and he will head to the free throw line. Well, you thought Auburn had their stop.
Yeah. Well, there's Boswell. I mean, he's just a pain to play against. Every time you forget about him and you're focused on other people, Boswell comes up and makes a play. That time gets that offensive rebound.
Got a good one tomorrow. Alabama and Florida over on ABC. Big shot for Brown to knock that free throw home. Dwayne Brown came in 61% at the free throw line. He has hit 3 out of 4 against the Tigers.
Yeah, and Tennessee's Achilles heel has been the free throw line at times, and right now that makes them 22 of 27. So that's going to bring a smile to Coach Barnes' face if they can pull this win off, because they don't win it without that production at the free throw line.
15th in the league in free throw percentage. Heyman came from the backside to block that shot.
And Dave, Auburn is a team, they destroy opponents at the free throw line, and Tennessee's beat them out their own game from that standpoint.
Here's Hall to flush it, under a minute to go. Again, back to a 2-possession game.
And to be able to close out games with ball control, decision making. A year ago, this is where you got it to Zakai Ziegler and you said, just get out of the way.
Got a foul. Amon finally gets fouled, and he'll step to the free throw line.
I've been really impressed with Amon. And I say that on a 4 of 16 shooting night. But he continued to be aggressive, and he's gotten himself to the free throw line now for his 14th and 15th trip. And that's what your leading and top scorers have to do, is even when it's their off night, can you find other ways to score and not shut it down? And I think the freshman's done a terrific job of that.
Well, you said it earlier that the majority of his shots have been good shots that you would want him to take.
Yeah, I don't think there's many shots other than maybe that last 3 that he pulled from deep that Rick Barnes is going to grade anything less than a good look.
Ament. 1 of 2 at the line, 22 points. Pettiford in a hurry back the other way. 33 seconds. He'll pull up for 3 off the back of the rim. He'll have another opportunity, and that one won't go. Ament the rebound. And that should do it with 21 seconds in a 3-possession game. Boy, what a big win for Tennessee. Not the prettiest of nights. They'll end up shooting 44%. And just 4 of 13 from behind the arc, and those 4 threes came in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, but that's what Tennessee does. They find a way to make their opponents uncomfortable, that even when you have open looks, at times you feel rushed because you're surprised you're open. And this Auburn team, I thought, really staged a nice comeback after getting down early, but the lack of timely key shots I thought was critical, as they were just 7 of 31 from 3 on the road.
Yeah, they were down 16 in the first half. Just a big mountain to climb. Rocky Top was a little too tall and slippery today for Auburn. Pettiford lost the handle, and it'll belong to the Tigers with 13.6 seconds left to play.
Well, the free throw line, Tennessee 25 of 31 compared to 13 of 18. Again, that's the game within the game. And if you want to beat Auburn, you have to at least be tied and not get crushed at the free throw line. And credit Tennessee.
Hall fouled by Carey on the way to the basket. And Rick Barnes, you see it all the time. This part of the game, coach is like, what are we doing?
And right now, Ament's got to be smart, because Keyshawn Murphy really shoved him there during the play. Nothing flagrant, but it's getting chippy right now, and you don't want to do anything stupid to close out this game.
These two teams have had some classic battles over the years. In the last 8 seasons, they're the 2 winningest teams in the conference. Auburn has gone 216 and 78. Tennessee 215 and 80. But this has been a tough environment for Auburn over the years. Tennessee's going to go to 52 and 9 in Knoxville in this series history against Auburn. Gillespie will run out the clock, and Tennessee will win it. They'll go to 15 and 6, 5 and 3 in the league. Auburn goes to 14 and 8, 5 and 4 in conference play. Good night to be a Vol. Better nights in store for this Auburn team. Our final score, once again, Tennessee wins it 77-69. For Dane Bradshaw, the rest of our exceptional ESPN crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Knoxville. Time to get you to Spokane, Washington, as we join Dave Fleming and Sean Farnham for St. Mary's at number 6 Gonzaga.